Stick and leaf insects are among the most precisely camouflaged animals on Earth. They carry no venom, no claws, and no meaningful speed. Their survival depends entirely on resemblance to twigs, bark, living leaves, and dead ones. This video counts down 20 species, each with a distinct mechanism for remaining invisible in a world full of predators that are actively looking for them. Number 20. The pink-winged stick insect. This stick insect of the Philippines has two ways of protecting itself, and they work in completely opposite ways. The first is to be invisible. The second is to be impossible to ignore. Together, they form a defense that has made this insect highly effective at surviving in its environment. When the insect is resting, it does nothing. It grips a branch and holds completely still. Its body is brown and long and thin, shaped almost exactly like a dry twig. It does not fidget. It does not react to small sounds or nearby movement. It simply stays motionless for as long as it needs to. Most predators find their prey by watching for movement, so an insect that never moves is an insect that often goes unnoticed entirely. The problem comes when a predator gets close enough that staying still is no longer enough. At that point, the insect switches strategies entirely. It opens its outer wings and reveals the wings underneath, which are a bright, vivid pink. This color appears suddenly and at close range. The predator was expecting a twig. What it sees instead is a sharp burst of unexpected color directly in front of it. That sudden visual change breaks the predator's concentration and interrupts whatever it was about to do next. That brief interruption is all the insect needs. While the predator is processing what just happened, the insect lets go of the branch, falls to the ground, and closes its wings. On the forest floor, surrounded by dead leaves and brown debris, it looks like a twig again. The predator looks down and sees nothing it can identify as a target. By the time it works out what happened, the insect has already disappeared into the leaf litter. Number 19. The dead leaf mimic. This leaf insect, distributed across South and Southeast Asia, does not merely resemble a dead leaf, it replicates one in the late stages of decay. The body carries brown patches, black irregular spots resembling mold growth, and ragged wing edges that copy the torn margins of decomposing foliage. Its movement reinforces the disguise. When walking, the insect rocks its body from side to side at a slow, rhythmic pace, a direct imitation of the way a dried leaf drifts and rocks in low air movement. The motion is not that of an insect navigating a surface. It resembles an object being carried by wind. The veins visible across its flattened body's surface correspond closely to the vein structure of real dead leaves. Field observations have documented leaf-eating birds passing directly over these insects without detecting them. Number 18. The giant prickly stick insect. This stick insect of Australia is a large species, and it does not rely on invisibility alone. Its body and legs are covered in thick, hard spikes that stick outward in multiple directions. These spikes change the way the insect looks in a significant way. Instead of appearing as a smooth, soft-bodied animal, it looks like something thorny and unpleasant, the kind of plant that scratches and draws blood when touched. When the insect feels directly threatened, it does not simply freeze. It raises its front legs and holds them out in a way that makes the spikes more visible. This posture is deliberate. It positions the insect so that what the predator sees most clearly is the cluster of outward-facing spines. The overall shape, at that angle, looks much more like a section of thorny vegetation than like an insect. For a predator that has already been hurt by thorns before, that image is a familiar warning. Many will turn away rather than risk the same experience again. The spikes themselves do not need to injure anything to be effective. Their job is not to fight back. It is to remind the predator of a previous experience and trigger the same avoidance response that experience created. The insect wins not by being dangerous, but by looking like something the predator has already learned to leave alone. Number 17. The bark-colored stick insect. This stocky Australian species does not hide among leaves. It rests directly on tree trunks, pressed flat against the bark surface in full daylight. Its body is gray-brown with an uneven texture. Not the smooth profile of a twig, but the rough, irregular surface of cracked and weathered bark. A notable feature of this species is local adaptation. Populations living on dark-barked trees are measurably darker than those on pale-barked trees. The coloration is not a fixed species-wide trait, it is matched to the specific bark of the insect's home tree. The legs are flattened and spread wide against the surface, nearly eliminating the shadow cast by the body. Shadow is a primary visual cue that reveals the presence of a three-dimensional object on a flat surface. By pressing the body down and extending the limbs flat, the insect reduces this cue to near zero. Number 16. The spiny stick insect. This species, found across parts of Africa and Asia, carries thorn-like spines along its legs and body sides. It lives among thorny shrubs, and the spines on its body match the plant's thorns closely enough that the two are difficult to distinguish at close range. The spines on the insect's body are not, in most cases, sharp enough to physically injure a predator. Their function is associative rather than mechanical. Birds and lizards that have encountered thorny plants and received minor injuries from doing so develop avoidance responses to anything with a similar visual profile. The insect borrows that learned aversion without possessing genuine defensive capability. Number 15. The jungle nymph. Among the heaviest leaf insects in the world, the female of this Malaysian rainforest species can reach the weight of a small mouse. The body is wide, flat, and bordered by thick ridged plates along the sides and back. From above, the insect resembles not a single leaf but several overlapping ones. The plates fan outward like layered foliage. The coloration shifts from fresh green at the center through yellow-green to brown at the margins, matching the natural color gradient visible across real plant clusters. When threatened, the insect releases a chemical compound from glands located on the body surface. The odor replicates the scent of the plants it inhabits. A predator that closes within smelling range receives a plant signal, not an insect signal. Number 14. The twig mimic. One of the most common stick insects in the world, this species ranges from the southern United States through Canada and is regularly present in parks, gardens, and suburban woodlands. It is slender, long-legged, and a uniform medium brown, consistent with the color of a dried twig in late autumn. It carries no spines, no leaf-like projections, and no unusual patterning. The survival mechanism of note here is not the insect itself, but its eggs. Each egg carries a small, fatty attachment called a capitulum, structurally similar to the eleosome found on ant eggs. Ants collect these eggs and transport them underground to their nests, treating them as food stores. Underground, the eggs remain protected from temperature extremes, predation, and moisture loss. When the eggs hatch, the juvenile insects climb out of the ant tunnels and disperse. The ants receive no benefit from the transaction. Number 13. The two-striped walking stick. This stick insect of North America is known for having one of the most effective defenses in the group. Most stick insects depend almost entirely on camouflage, but this species can also release a defensive chemical. Specialized glands located behind its head produce the spray. When the insect is disturbed, it directs this chemical toward the threat. Contact with the spray can cause severe irritation and may lead to temporary blindness if it reaches the eyes. Birds, reptiles, and small mammals typically avoid the insect after a single encounter. Even with this defense, the two-striped walking stick continues to rely primarily on camouflage. It remains motionless on branches, where its long brown body closely resembles a thin twig. The combination of effective camouflage and a chemical defense makes it one of the most well-protected stick insects in North America. Number 12. The black jungle stick insect. Most stick and leaf insects match greens and browns. This high-altitude rainforest species is nearly entirely black, with faint gray mottling. It lives on dark, mossy rock surfaces, blackened tree trunks, and shaded forest floors, environments where green or brown coloration would be conspicuous rather than concealing. Unlike most of its relatives, this species is active during daylight hours. It moves through shadowed zones, the areas beneath overhanging branches or dense canopy, where the existing darkness of its surroundings deepens the concealment effect. The insect positions itself in the shadow cast by overhead vegetation, using the environmental shadow to supplement its body coloration. Number 11. The winged stick insect. This species, distributed across parts of Asia and the Pacific, appears unremarkable at rest, brown, mottled, motionless, consistent with its stick-like surroundings. Concealed beneath its dull outer wings are brightly colored inner wings, vivid red, electric blue, or orange, varying by population. When a predator closes in and the camouflage is no longer sufficient, the insect opens these inner wings for 1 to 2 seconds, producing a sudden burst of color. The predator, neurologically tuned to track moving bright stimuli, fixes its attention on the flash. The insect then closes its wings and becomes motionless again. The predator is now searching for a brightly colored moving object. What remains visible is a brown stick. The insect has not traveled far. It is in the same location, but the predator's search image has been replaced by a stimulus that no longer exists. This isn't the full list, but we'll stop here for today. Let me know what you think so far, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.